So, developer update.
It's a big one. It's for sure.
Yeah. A series of blog posts and upcoming changes and features making their way to Dead by Daylight Chapter 16 review. With the upcoming mid-chapter, we're kicking off a new initiative to review the previously released chapter, the killer, the perks, and the survivor perks, and make changes that are needed. First to receive this treatment is the Silent Hill chapter. So, they're not going too far back, but they are reviewing old stuff, which is nice.
Yeah, they said this is the first. Gonna do this from now on. Where after like the next chapter is released, they will update anything from the previous chapter that they feel needs to be updated. That's why they're starting with chapter 16 now that we're on 17.
Feel that it's important to see how content plays out in a real world scenario before committing balance changes. Something that seems overpowered upon release can end up being a non-issue once people have had a chance to play against it and develop counterplay. Likewise, something that might seem underpowered might find a niche once people have had the time to experiment with new builds and playstyles. Other times, the playstyles that crop over time can turn out to be frustrating or unfun to play against. With this in mind, we plan to review the previous chapter once it has a few months to simmer and address the issues and balances that may have appeared. This period gives us a chance to monitor how the new content is used and to get a better understanding of how it is used. That seems redundant, but okay. And how it can be abused before tweaking things. So that's good. They're going to release stuff and then slowly review it and then update it when needed. Go figure. Something they should have been doing a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if we're talking about updating perks to fit certain niche builds, perfect example of that is Tinker. They buffed that, and now everyone's using it, especially for Blight.
Yep. Blight is pretty strong with Tinkerer.
Very common build now would be Tinker, Ruin, Undying, and Corrupt. No, Barbecue.
Yeah, that would be...
I think Barbecue is the...
Barbecue seems to be the standard for every killer.
Yeah.
But it's so strong and blood points, so... Alright, looks like the first update's gonna be with the Executioner.
Before we go on, though, before we go on, all of these updates will be rolled out in the next PTB. So hopefully, from what I've read, that should be really soon. Assuming it would be in September. So yeah, probably next week.
Alright, from watching Pyramid Head matches over a few months, we've noticed that many people opt to only use his Punishment of the Damned attack at pallets and windows, where the survivor is locked into an interaction and unable to attempt to dodge the attack. To address this, we've made gameplay more dynamic. We are making two changes. So, first, do you agree with that statement?
I mean, Pyramid Head is a very oppressing killer for when people are trying to loop him, and it's just whenever you come across a window or a pallet, your option is either to fake it, hopefully he'll go for it, or just go for it and get hit. It's really difficult. So I'm glad they've realized this.
Yeah, but on the other end, I mean, it's kind of hard to land that unless you can lock him into a situation.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult to actually hit his range attack, but
yeah, as long as you got a competent survivor who's looking behind them, it's not too hard to dodge. But as a survivor, what they do with them, like this.
I'm actually really happy with how they decided to balance him, which we're about to get into.
Yes. First up is increasing the delay after canceling the rights of judgment. Should we get some gameplay?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. I have a custom game up. I'll just invite you when you're on.
I'll load into the game now. We'll show you exactly what they mean by everything.
They appeal to a common, like, I don't want to say issue, but more of a concern that survivors had and a concern that the killers had when they were playing him. So I think they did a really good job balancing this. Yeah, pretty much the problem that survivors had with Pyramid Head was when they come to a certain loop and they see a window or pallet, they can either A, vault that window or pallet and most likely get hit by his range attack, or uh, don't vault it and end up getting hit by his basic attack.
Yeah, either way you're
So,
getting hit. There's really no outplay as long as you had a smart Pyramid Head. Alright. You said you had a custom game up?
yep. I will send invite.
Sorry, I almost click reject every time. I was just, my brain thinks it should be on the other side. Alright. Sure. We don't need anything fancy.
Nah, we don't really need anything other than Pyramid Head, which I've got covered.
Yep.
Yeah, so basically now that it takes longer to recover from canceling his ranged attack, this gives the survivor an actual chance to like avoid a basic attack if he decides to try to do one of those.
And it makes sense from a like a gameplay standpoint, because if you're going out with some special attack, you shouldn't be able to just drop it and switch to a sword.
Yeah.
Or his giant knife, whatever you want to call it. Alright, I'm by the main building.
Okay, I'm out in the street.
Oh, there you are.
I see you.
Alright, so, for instance, where is a window? That is not a window.
Window should be this way in the main building. You can do this one. I'll just break this. Here we go.
Alright, say he's chasing me right now. I either go through the window and get hit by this, or I dodge and like not going through the window, but then he can just hit me with this basic attack with no reason at all. So
Yeah, there's plenty of time for me when I go to load up the range attack. I have plenty of time to just cancel it and just
Cancel
go
it?
for the M1 instead.
yeah, there's zero delay in that cancel. So just boom, instantly he can swing. Yeah. So now, if I fake the window and then head for the door, he can't just instantly switch to his basic attack and get a free hit on me. Odds are he's still going to get a hit probably around at this point, but at least then I have a chance to either double back or maybe have a survivor friend out there with a flashlight or something.
Yeah, even when I put the sword in the ground, it's literally I can lift it up instantly and then just go for it like that.
Yep, no delay. Now, do they say how long the delay is going to be, or it just will be a small delay?
I'm sure it'll be like a small delay. I don't think it'll be anything crazy.
Yeah. Alright, next is decreasing the delay after attacking with Punishment of the Damned. Missing an attack with Punishment of the Damned can feel very punishing. Oh, the irony. The cooldown after attacking is fairly long, which gives the survivor a lot of time to gain distance. By lowering the cooldown, you're able to use your power more liberally without having it backfire as hard if you miss. The goal of these changes is to move Pyramid Head's gameplay more skill-based and rewards aiming your attacks as well as rather than canceling your power and just using only in certain situations. You're guaranteed to get a hit. We're not aiming to make the executioner stronger or weaker overall, just to add some, to address some frustrations on both sides, which makes sense.
Yeah, there's the delay is really long. I think it's like 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, I was counting really fast. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's like 4 seconds, like solid 4 seconds.
Pretty long.
It's a really long delay.
And I'm a survivor man, and I agree it should probably be 2 seconds, maybe 2.5. 4 seconds seems ridiculous. You should be punished for missing an attack, but not that badly.
Like even when I spam even when I spam like just a basic attack after I do the range attack, like I'm spamming and then I can't attack until now. It's crazy long.
Yeah, that's pretty long. And I'm all for making killers more skill-based. Like, you should have a couple no-brainer killers, if you will, kind of like the Wraith or a Trapper, if you will.
Yeah, very basic, fundamental style killer.
I think majority of the killers, especially most new killers, should be very skill-based to make the game, I don't know, more balanced. Because I mean, if you're playing like Blight's a good example, because he's very skill-based in my opinion, where if you're good on him, same with Nurse. If you're good on them, they're just godlike. But if you're not good on them, they're just garbage killers. And so like a rank 20 killer going on a Plague or a Nurse is going to be fun to play against, because they're not going to be able to hit their dashes or anything. But a rank 1 killer is going to roll face, and that's probably the way it should be. IMO.
Yeah, in my opinion, these changes aren't really a nerf or a buff. It's basically just balancing it for just the fact that the survivors have a problem with him and the killers have a problem with him.
Yeah.
And they're just fixing both issues, not really giving one side more of an advantage, in my opinion. So.
No, they're more gameplay focused, which is nice.